Hey folks, welcome back to Gaming Garbage, where we take a look at games, chat about the gaming news in the industry, and of course, stream for fun. Today we're going over Sony's State of Play. This is June of 2025, and we're going to go over just about every single game here, and then kind of my final thoughts at the end. So we had Lumens Arise. This is fall 2025. It's like Tetris, basically. Well, it's really kind of hard to pick that out in the picture with what they're showing because there's so much going on the screen. But yeah, that's basically Tetris. Next, we got to see Pragmata, which is 2026. This is a third-person shooter with basically an AI helper on your back. Kind of little reminiscent of like Death Stranding from just kind of the look and the style. But we actually do get some weapons. And then your AI helper helps you out too. Again, it's representative of a little child, a girl, with tons of flowing hair. Good gravy. It's definitely a Japanese game. Next, we had Romeo, a Dead Man, which is 2026. This is a third-person melee gun combat game with boss fights intermittently throughout, and then environmental areas to kind of explore. It doesn't look necessarily open world, but it has some environments to explore and some enemies to fight through and stuff. Next, we get to see Silent Hill F. Finally, we get to see something on this. This is September of 2025. This September 25th, excuse me, of 2025. And yeah, another Silent Hill game set in Japan. Looks like between two sisters. Next, we got to see Bloodstained, which is 2026. 2D side-scroller, fairly detailed, and some flashy combat. Definitely has that like Japanese flair, anime flair to it. Next, we got to see Digimon, a Storytime Stranger. This will be October 3rd, 2025. Turn-based combat. Very much kind of a Final Fantasy style to the combat. And then as for the rest of the game, looks like there's some places to actually explore. Kind of like a Pokemon Legends type of game. Final Fantasy Tactics, Everest Chronicles. This is September 30th, 2025. This is a PlayStation 1 classic from 1997, and you get both the original and the remastered version. They didn't call it a remastered, though. They call it, like, enhanced visuals. So I'm not entirely sure what they're getting at. Both of them generally looked the same to me. Didn't look like there was too big of a difference there. But yeah, you basically finally get Final Fantasy Tactics. Next was Baby Steps, September 8th. 2025, a true walking simulator, very niche game. Jokes are relatively flat during the game too, and I don't know, doesn't look like there's a ton of substance there. Next, we got to see Hirogami. This is September 3rd. Basically, you're saving your world of origami by shifting into animals, and each animal has like different abilities and stuff, and I'm sure you kind of all unlock these progressively throughout the game. Next, we got to see Golf. I'm gonna mess this up. And basically, we got to see Hot Shots, which is a golf game that we had in like the 2000s. This will be coming out September 5th, and basically you play golf. They've added some weather. They've added like a day-night cycle, sort of to the game. So yeah, you get to play during the day and during the night. And yeah, honestly, that'll probably be a fairly popular one because a lot of people played Hot Shots back in the day. Next, we got to see Ninja Gaiden Ragebound. This is July 31st. And this looks like it has Super Nintendo graphics, and it's a 2D hack and slash. So that'll be pretty reminiscent for some folks. Next, we got to see Cairn, which is, there's a demo available, but I'm wondering if it's actually out now. We didn't actually get a release date for this. But yeah, this is like a climbing game. There's also some prep in between climbs, and you have to focus on using balance and stamina. And the preparation that you did for your trip so that you can actually make it through the next leg. So it kind of reminds me of Descent, which I initially looked a little bit. I think that was last year. Next, we get the Mortal Kombat collection. This is basically 1 through 4, and then number 3, Ultimate. So you get 5 games. This is coming out at some point toward the end of 2025. And yeah, I mean, they look exactly like we would expect. I mean, the same graphics, the same style, the same voiceovers and stuff. And so, yeah, they're just bringing that as a collection to you guys. Next, we got to see a wireless fight stick controller, actually, for PlayStation 5. So, don't have one yet. That's kind of nice for those that want one. Next, we got to see Metal Gear Solid 3 Delta. This is, again, August 28th. I can't wait to play this. Pre-ordered it. I'll be showing you guys. Next, we got to see Neo 3. Finally! Yeah, we haven't had a Neo since 2021. Neo 3 will be early 2026. And it's actually nice to see something from this franchise. And yeah, this is one of the hardest Dark Souls games, if you don't know. That's basically out there. So even people that have played Dark Souls and Elden Ring and Sekiro, they say that this is way harder Neo games, and I would totally agree. I couldn't even get through like the first area for Pete's sakes. It's brutal. Next is Tides of Tomorrow. This is February 26th. And this will be somewhat of a multiplayer story, though you're not going to be with other people for multiplayer, but you're going to see what other players have done, as if it's like a premonition or like a ghost or a phantom that you can kind of see in the world. And you get to decide whether you follow them or not. And yeah, you'll have different decisions to make, kind of like a fork in the road, and that will kind of dictate what happens for your particular game. And what you do is also going to influence other people as well. So I don't know, that's an interesting concept, kind of like Death Stranding, how you can put a ladder down or a rope to climb or something like that, and other players can engage with that. And they too can also put equipment in the game, and you can also use that and see that in your world. But yeah, it's not like you're all actually playing together. Next, we got to see Astrobot. So we're going to have 5 new challenge levels, some free content, and also there's a DualSense Astrobot controller if you're interested. Next, we got to see Sea of Remnants. This is 2026. And yeah, it really looks like a Sea of Thieves game, honestly. And it looks like, too, toward the end, maybe you'll actually have a team of 3. So if you actually have multiplayer on top of this, yeah, it really looks like Sea of Thieves. I mean, there's places to explore. The art style is very simplified, so that you can render a bunch of it. Looks like maybe there's a little bit of ray tracing too for the game. And then yeah, you have pirate ships and you have fights on the ocean and stuff. And so yeah, it could be a fun game. Next, we got to see Sword of the Sea. This is August 19th. And this is from the creators of Journey. So this is not going to be an overly large game. Most of the game is going to be cinematic. There's probably not really going to be a lot of replay value in this, for those of you that don't know what Journey is. And yeah, it's not Journey, it's something else, but it has kind of that style. Next, we got to see Firebreak. This is June 17th, literally a couple of weeks around the corner. And this is actually coming to Extra and Premium for PlayStation Plus. So you guys can actually try this out. Next, we got to see some games coming to the classic catalog, and they're wonderful, by the way. You got to see Deus Ex. This is June 17th. We also got to see Twisted Metal 3 and 4. Man, I wish we had 2. Come on, bring 2. That was July 15th. And then also Resident Evil 2 and 3 is coming probably in August. It says summer, but I'm assuming August because that's the last month of summer. Also, we're going to see Myst and Riven, which are puzzles, some of the hardest puzzle games you'll ever play in your life. These are coming in June for the state of play. Or, excuse me, for the days of play. Excuse me. Last 2, we got to see 00 First Light, which is a kind of the beginning of James Bond's story. And you're basically on his first mission before he becomes 007, or while he becomes 007. And honestly, it looks fairly good. I mean, it's a new character face. James Bond changes characters every so often. Some people are kind of put off that it's not Sean Connery or something. But, yeah, I don't know. It actually looks fairly good. We're going to have a gameplay trailer later in the summer. Lastly, we got to see Marvel Token, which is Fighting Souls. This will, again, be coming in 2026. And this is like a Street Fighter Tekken game with up to 4 characters per team. So like 4v4. That's kind of insane. And there's definitely a lot going on the screen. But we get Doctor Doom and Spider-Man and Captain America and Iron Man. And we get like we get Storm. So they're going to add some X-Men characters in there. But it is interesting, though, because it's like, okay, we got to see eight characters in basically kind of like one map, but is there going to be a campaign? Are we going to have other characters? Is this going to be a live service game? God, man, I hope not, but it would totally fit the bill if it was. So we'll have to see more in 2026. So overall, for the whole showcase, I give it a C-. Okay, it is just barely kind of there. It's kind of like a really strong 6. Low 7. And yeah, lots of new games to actually show. Some were just, again, for advertising, like Metal Gear Solid 3. Lots of release days at this time, which is actually really nice. Again, I think it's because we have GTA 6 out of the way. And then the showcase itself was also actually pretty fast paced. Not a lot of fluffy stuff in between. It's just right to the next game, which was wonderful. The first half was really calm and kind of boring for me personally, and it was much more exciting in the second half. But if you do like Japanese games, this is going to be the showcase for you. Many of these are also smaller games. And I feel like this is the result of their live service failures that they've had. We're looking at like 12. And then still like Fair Games and Marathon, we haven't seen anything on, which is kind of insane. We also didn't see Judas again. So I keep bringing this up for like 2 years now, as like we haven't really seen much on Judas. So, and then yeah, we still didn't see Fair Games. We still didn't see Marathon. We still didn't see anything on Wolverine. So it's like this is basically like a third-party showcase. We got to see a little teeny bit of Ghosts of Yote, but it's like we didn't really see anything. It basically was like her face in the shadows, a wolf growling at her, which we know we're going to have a wolf in the game anyway, so that wasn't a surprise. And then it says basically gameplay in July. It's like, well, okay, gotta wait another month. So it was really pretty worthless, unfortunately, to actually have that in there. So we basically had 22 titles that I read off. We did have one other one that was Thief VR, but most people don't even have a VR headset, so I didn't bother. The other thing that's interesting is 12 of these are actually Xbox. So, but of course they don't tell you that. So it was kind of funny after the showcase looking at Xbox's channel and like all of these trailers being thrown up on their channel on YouTube. But let's go over them. Pragmata will be on Xbox. Romeo, Silent Hill F, Bloodstained, Digimon, Final Fantasy Tactics, Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, Mortal Kombat Collection, Metal Gear Solid 3, Tides of Tomorrow, Firebreak, and 007 First Light. All of these are actually going to be on Xbox. And it sounds like these will actually be same-day releases as PlayStation. Doesn't look like they're going to be exclusives. I could be wrong about that. Because, again, we haven't seen anything from Xbox, but, yeah, we'll have to see. And pretty much all of these games are also coming to PC. So it's just kind of interesting as we're, like, seeing all of this is, like, the exclusivity model for PlayStation. It's still technically there. We have Ghosts of Yote, but we didn't see it. Marathon, we didn't see it. Fair Games, we didn't see that one either. Wolverine game, we didn't see that. So it's like, okay, we know you have first party in the pipeline, but we're not really seeing anything. And the amount of exclusivity that they have is kind of non-existent for the most part. Even their third-party games, the developers, they're like, nope, we don't want to do just you guys. We want to bring it to as many platforms as possible. And yeah, of course, every business, they want to make more money. Why shouldn't they? So, yeah, I don't know. It was just barely a C- in my opinion. Really strong 6, week 7, somewhere in there. So it was okay. It was definitely better than the last State of Play, which was just Borderlands 4. That was kind of awkward. So that could have been its whole other thing. And two, like with a lot of these games coming in 26, it's like, okay, what are we going to see this year? Basically, we have Death Stranding, Souls Aside, and Ghosts of Yote. And that's kind of it. Still, we haven't seen anything on Where the Winds Meet, unless that came out already. But yeah, that's another one that's kind of missing in action. So, I don't know. Stuff is coming. That's good. Exclusive or not, I think the console wars are just retarded and it's over. And I mean, Xbox already threw in the towel, and so we're just moving on. And I think other content creators should too at this point. It's like they just keep bringing that back up that Xbox is dead, and it's like I don't know. Personally, I don't see it. I mean, the gaming revenue PlayStation is making versus Xbox, it's roughly the same when you remove console sales because they don't make a lot of money on console sales anyway. So, yeah. But anyway, that's what I thought of the showcase. If you wish to look at it yourself, there's a link down below, and then, of course, you can always like, subscribe, all that jazz, to Gaming Garbage 22. I also have a playlist on there. There's a lot more than just doing this type of stuff. And then there's also Twitch at Don't Tread on Thee as well. And with that, folks, I'll see you guys on the next one.